junta os dois vídeos, então. A gente faz vê o do Fallen e depois vê esse. Eu vou deixar aberto aqui. Bora ver o do ARTZIN. Galera, dá um like lá no canal do Calmo. Se inscreve no canal do Calmo. Ó. ARTZIN diz que Aspas é um jogador mais inteligente que ele já viu e quer enfrentar o EA. Olha aí.
Gotta give you the obvious opening question. Coming back from an opening match loss to 100 Thieves, you know, the goal was to bounce back, and you guys did that today. So, want to ask you first and foremost, you know, what's the feeling like for you coming out of that match?
To be honest, it's pretty good to win. I have this feeling because it's kind of sad to how our preparation went to this tournament. We didn't have that much time. We played the
ARTZIN tá
first match with
desenrolando, hein,
literally
mano.
1 day of practice.
Pô, sabe
So
falar
we
literally.
Trax mandou R$2. Fala, Nini,
Literally.
beleza?
Esse aí
Foi
dá
mal
as palavras
atrapalhar o
mais...
rumo da conversa. Consegue
Imagina.
desejar um feliz aniversário para meu mano Knight? Eu e ele começamos a jogar Vavá recentemente. Manda ele parar de ficar em call com a Mui enquanto joga Vavá também, kkkk.
Tá ficando com a mulher enquanto tá jogando Valorant, mano. Vai perder todas. Gado demais, cara. É web namoro, certeza, mano. Tamo junto aí, tamo junto, Knight. Tamo junto, Trix também. É nóis, velho. Um abraço pra vocês.
just need more practice. We need to, you know, be more prepared, you know.
Yeah, I can definitely understand how tough that was. I mean, it was talked about in the broadcast and even in other interviews with a few other members of your squad about how difficult the preparation.
Por que os dois estão falando inglês, sendo que os dois são brasileiros? É que o Saci tá ajudando o ARTZIN a treinar o inglês dele, mano.
Phase was. So I asked to you, ARTZIN, how was the team able to get some semblance of practice in throughout the competition? Because now you got to play official matches from like the first match against 100 Thieves to even today, and having to improve from point A to point B. So how are you guys able to kind of practice as much as you could?
Yeah, so we used
Cara, o pior é
our
que esse cara aqui ele
first
não tem nada a ver com o Saci, mano. Mas nada a ver com o Saci. A galera zaralha, velho. Tem nada a ver, velho.
loss to
Jaldimo não vai jogar hoje? Tá zoando.
really think our way of practice. And after that, we started practice every single day. And
Quando que eles começaram a treinar aqui?
first loss. Yeah, so we used our first loss to really think our way of practice. And after that, we started practice every single day. And because, yeah, that's the thing that I told. We didn't have that much practice, so we are kind of having a slow start. But for now, we're just practicing. We're gonna keep practicing. We just need time. That's it.
What do you feel was the most important thing that MIBR had to work on the most, you know, from that first match
Legal
against
essa
100
pergunta.
Thieves to today? What do you feel is the one aspect that was looked at?
To be honest, I would say more preparation, more adaptations and stuff like that. But we can only have that with practice.
Aô, Nyangão velho rasgado, você tá bom?
Ô, tô
Você
bom.
pode dizer mais pra gente sobre 2023 e 2024? Que
Quê?
dá pra notar que o XRM e o Spaca narraram mais jogos da Loud do que qualquer outra dupla?
Ah, tá. Muito disso é porque eles estavam fora do Brasil. Então, quando era jogo do Brasil e era jogo importante, e a Loud era o único time que ia bem nos campeonatos, aí eles faziam de Los Angeles por eles já estarem lá, né? Então agora, como todo mundo tá no Brasil e ainda os times brasileiros dessa vez estão mais equilibrados, na teoria era pro MBR ir melhor, era pra Fúria ir melhor, era pra Loud ir melhor, a rotatividade entre os casters deve acontecer um pouco maior esse ano. Mas hoje, XRM e Spaca vão estar nesse primeiro jogo aí, jogo da Loud. Nos outros estava sendo eu no jogo da Loud, junto com o V7, XRM e Spaca no MBR.
So again, we didn't have that much those much answers against 100 Thieves because we didn't have that much practice. But now that we are starting to practice every single thing, we are knowing the teams, we are like knowing how to play against them. So yeah, that's kind of it.
Yeah, now diving into the
ARTZIN
match itself against Cloud9, the one that just
não
happened
contou o
as just now
segredo,
at the
né?
time of the recording. You guys went through Lotus, in which Cloud9 came out of it on top, and then like from that point on, there was like some thoughts within the crowd about maybe the poor form would continue for you guys. Obviously, that didn't happen. You guys came back winning Abyss and then winning on Pearl. Going from map 1 to map 2, what was that team discussion like in the break, and having to like look at what happened in that first map and then having to like switch for map 2?
The thing that helped us, it's really about the confidence we have with each other. So we just have that kind of mindset that you're like, yeah, we lost, but we can forget about that map. We know we are
Olha
a good
só.
team. We know how to play against them. So we just need to reset and be ready for the second map as it was like the first one. So that's what
A
we
ARTZIN tá desenrolando bem
had a
demais,
conversation
cara.
about, and it kind of worked.
No, definitely they did more than just kind of definitely worked, especially in that second half. But still, nevertheless, there was a little bit of a scare at the start of the second half in which you guys were 10-2 up, only needing 3 more round wins to clinch that map and move on to over to map 3.
Que isso, olha o
Cloud9 was
ARTZIN, dando
going
a
on a
lambidinha no
run, winning
beiço.
the first 7 consecutive rounds in that second half. I mean, I kind of want to ask you about that time frame. What kind of caused the Cloud9 false comeback, if that's the
Overall,
right thing to say? Yeah.
uh, we were kind of slow to adapt our play style against how they were playing. But after we resolved that, it was much easier to play because Cloud9 is a team that we prepared to play against. So we were needing some conversation and adaptation, and after we got it, yeah, it was like it wasn't that difficult anymore.
What was your main impression of Cloud9 from having to like prepare for them and then actually facing off against them today? What was the one thing that stood out to you in facing them?
Fala que a Cloud9 só troca tiro e vai pra frente.
I always see Cloud9 as a good team, but it depends on Oxy's mood. So if we counter Oxy in game, it's more easy to us to win, because Becky, he's really
Pro
good. He's a
ARTZIN.
monster. So we need to take care of him. And after that, things were more easier.
Surpreso demais com o ARTZIN, tá?
Yeah, because that's basically what it is that teams can do to take down Cloud9. And I mean, going over to Pearl, obviously, like we saw a continuation of MIBR's momentum onto that. I mean, if there's one thing that you can look at in which you can say this was the main reason as to why you guys were able to beat Cloud9 and then.
É sempre assim, né? Ah, o que você achou sobre a Cloud9? Aí antes dele falar a verdade, sempre vem, né? Ah, eu sempre achei que a Cloud9 é um bom time, eles jogam bastante junto, mas toma as verdades,
complete the victory, what would that one thing be?
Yeah, like I said, for the first to second match, we have that kind of reset and we conversate. We say, yeah, we just keep our confidence up. We keep the comms up. So that was the most important thing that we bring to the map 3. And we were prepared to play Pearl, like we were with Biz as well. We just need to do things we do in practice. It worked a lot because we were like pretty confident still, So yeah, that's it.
A gente viu no
I
vlog,
want to
né?
ask you about
O reset foi esporro do Frod, banana do Frod e todinho pro Aspas.
Lotus. I mean, this question was pointed out to you in the post-match interview from Dryad, but I want to ask you again for this occasion. Obviously, we saw different composition from like the first match up until this one. I mean, for you particularly, you were playing the Viper. I mean, not just focusing on your change of agent, but more so looking at the decision to go to a different composition. Of course, you can't reveal too much, and I understand that, but nevertheless, what made the change? Was it just sort of like just kind of have a different feel to the map just because of the state you guys were in at that time, or was there anything like that?
Kind of. We used our first loss on Lotus to think about the comp, and we didn't think that Tejo was that strong anymore.
Olha só.
So we practiced with another comp. And
Eu ainda
yeah,
acho
we
que os
just
times não sabiam em como encaixar o terro. A galera tá entendendo ainda como usar o
keep
terro
changing
100%, né?
until we find
esse é o principal.
everyone's comfort. For me, it's not a big deal to play any agent because I'm a flexible guy, so I can play
Olha o
whatever
ARTZIN
the teams
fazendo o
need.
nome dele, mano.
So yeah, that's kind of it. And we are like fighting ourselves in the comps, you know. So
Yes, still a work in progress, especially since we're at the very start of the year. And so, I mean, you kind of mentioned a little bit right there in your recent answer, just looking at your current role in the flex position. Obviously, like last year, you were more so sentinel. You can kind of correct me on that if I'm wrong. And so the difference, and even like at the start of 2024, you were basically the duelist. And so we saw that to sentinel to now flex. And so what I want to ask you is, how have you viewed your transition into the flex role? And has there been any major like difficulties for you, or maybe any kind of like seamlessness
O
in
ARTZIN,
making
durante
that
muito
switch
tempo, ele
for
jogou de
you?
flex no Brasil, vocês lembram disso? Ele era duelista,
it
virou
wasn't
flex,
that hard
mas
because I already played flex once in my career
nessa
lifetime.
época, aqui no Brasil, eu não
So
gostava do flex
I
dele,
didn't
não.
have that much difficulties
Preferia ele de duelista.
because
Porque agora
I
ele de
gained
flex
a
tá
lot of
amassando.
experience here last year. So I'm using that to be more prepared and flexible in all agents, you know. So changing comps, changing roles for me, it's not a bad thing because I can guarantee you I know how to play every single agent in Valorant today. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely expecting for more like interesting agent picks for you in the future. Maybe we'll see you like fucking around and playing like Phoenix or something. I don't know, like maybe.
Maybe. Let's see Frogs down.
For sure.
Quero ver a parte do
Obviously,
Aspas aqui. Cadê
since
a parte
you're
do
part of
Aspas,
MIBR, I
mano?
gotta give you the obligatory Aspas question.
Aí,
You
ó,
know, like
agora.
how
Eu
is
quero
he as
ouvir
a
o que ele vai
player,
falar
or
sobre o
more so
Aspas.
specifically, how has the transition been? Just to include him into the squad, because I believe you're the only member within the
Olha o
active lineup
WhatsApp
that's
aí,
like
pode
carrying
mostrar em
over
live.
from last year up
Acabei
until
de
this
ver,
year. So
Smokemead.
how has the transition been like for
Vou
you,
abrir.
and how has the adjustments been like in having
Obrigado
to
pelos
play with
21
Aspas?
meses, meu mano.
The transition it's going really good because Aspas for me is the best duelist at the moment. And when you have that type of player in a team, it's easy for you to support him. And if this player has a good support, he's gonna like smash everyone, you know. So I just need to do my job as a good support, and he'll do the
Caralho,
rest,
olha
you know.
só, mano.
What's been the biggest difference in seeing him play, or more so competing against him and competing alongside him?
He's a really smart player, and that's the thing that I can guarantee you. Aspas is might be the most like one of the best smart players I've ever seen. His way of thinking, you know, his way of doing the role, he's pretty good at it. He's pretty complete. So that's the thing that gives him this kind of star, you know.
Yeah, and definitely gives plenty of confidence, I would say, also to the rest of the team, given that it's a mixture of like.
O Aspas é um dos jogadores mais inteligentes que já vi. Corta pro Saci perguntando ao Aspas o que ele fez errado na play e ele dizendo: se eu abrir e acertar na cabeça dos caras, tá certo. E o Saci começa a rir dizendo que não dá pra discutir.
Veteran talent and young players, and so definitely looking forward to seeing more of MIBR in that department. One more question before I wrap it up, more so towards your next opponent. I believe it's Evil Geniuses, and so moving on into the lower bracket. Any thoughts on your next opponent facing off against EA, and seeing that like optic loud kind of rivalry rekindle between him and Aspas?
I'm really excited to play against EA, but because it's my first time playing against him. He's a player that always been up on top, in the hall. So it's gonna be a pretty fun game. Also, EG is a pretty good team. So I'm really excited to play against them, but we are preparing ourselves and we're gonna do our best to win against them.
Legal, legal demais, mano. Deixa o like aí no canal do Calmo, se inscreve no canal do Calmo. Entrevista do ARTZIN. Gostei do inglês, hein? ARTZIN, inglesinho do ARTZIN. Brabo. Deixa eu abrir o WhatsApp aqui pra mostrar pra vocês o que o Smoke Mid me